Our headlines for tonight. The Congress seeks to investigate Epstein footprints in the Philippines. The Chinese embassy in Manila urges the Department of Foreign Affairs to lead efforts in managing differences amid world war. The Department of the Interior and Local Government recommends removal of Bureau of Fire Protection Chief amid corruption issues. Reward leading to fugitive Atong Ang's arrest increases to 20 million pesos. The International Criminal Court allows defense and prosecution to add evidences ahead of ex-Philippine President Duterte's confirmation hearing. Good evening, bringing the latest news for tonight. I am KRIZZA Lopez and this is Eurotv News Thread. The details on our broadcast. Lawmakers are seeking an investigation into the Philippines' alleged link to the so-called Epstein files. The move follows reports of a possible Philippine-based operations tied to the case. Here's their full report. Following reports that the U.S. Department of Justice identified a Philippine-based cover-up operation allegedly hired by convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, Congress has moved to investigate the matter. Senator Loren Legarda filed Senate Resolution number 200 seeking an inquiry into the Philippines' alleged connection to the Epstein files. The senator warned that the country may have been used as a base to conceal Epstein's digital footprint and that of his associates in their criminal activities. She cited several Philippine laws that may have been violated by the alleged Philippine-based cover-up operation. Among this is Article 3, Section 13 of the Constitution on Youth Protection, which affirms the country's obligations under the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. Meanwhile, the Makabayan Bloc also filed a resolution calling for an investigation into the Philippines' reported involvement in the Epstein files. The bloc's resolution stated that the alleged connection is alarming. They emphasized that it highlights the country's vulnerability to crimes such as human trafficking, violations of the Anti-Online Sexual Abuse or Exploitation of Children or OSAEC, and the Anti-Child Sexual Abuse or Exploitation Materials or CSAM. They stressed the need for a thorough investigation to determine the extent of Jeffrey Epstein's operation in the country and to identify which entities may have assisted in covering up his internet-related crimes. Jeffrey Epstein was an American financier convicted of sex offenses and accused of running a global trafficking network. The so-called Epstein files, released by the U.S. Department of Justice, contain thousands of pages of testimonies, emails, and communications documenting the extent of his operations worldwide. Included in the documents are details suggesting that in 2010, Epstein hired a Philippines-based team to manipulate online search results and conceal his criminal record. This is KRIZZA Lopez for Eurotv News. Tensions between Manila and Beijing continue as the Chinese embassy calls for dialogue and urges the Department of Foreign Affairs to help manage differences. This comes amid ongoing public exchanges between Chinese officials and Philippine lawmakers. Alvin Pilabello with the report.
The Chinese embassy in Manila on Thursday counters the Department of Foreign Affairs statement over the world war between China and lawmakers, including government officials. Chinese embassy spokesperson Ji Linpeng said that there is a need of healthy dialogue between China and the Philippines amid heated public exchanges. The embassy urges the DFA to play a constructive role in leading the efforts to manage the differences and advance the bilateral relations. Beijing official pointed out that there is no one case that the Chinese embassy attacked first and insists that they are just responding on the issues of criticism. The embassy has released a statement banning 16 municipal officials of Kalayaan, Palawan to enter the mainland China, including Hong Kong and Macau. The DFA retaliated that such actions do not contribute to the bilateral relations between China and the Philippines. DFA expresses that a dialogue is needed to resolve the differences. DFA spokesperson for maritime issue insisted that the embassy should consider a constructive statements pertaining to the territorial disputes. The embassy in Manila continues to retaliate against public statements made by lawmakers, citing that PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariala, uses barbaric, illegal, coercive, aggressive, and deceptive statements to smear China. This is Alvin Palabello for Eurotv News.
Meanwhile, the Interior Secretary is raising alarm over alleged corruption within the Bureau of Fire Protection or BFP. John Vic Remulla claims that some personnel were involved in bribery and overpriced fire extinguisher deals, prompting calls for charges and reforms. Henry Nicolas has the details.
Department of the Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vic Remulla on Thursday said that personnel from the Bureau of Fire Protection attempted to bribe him in exchange for his approval of illegal transactions involving the overpriced procurement of fire extinguishers. This follows a recent modus operandi discovered by the DILG regarding the fraud and continued abuse by BFP personnel who target business owners with overpriced fire extinguishers. Remulla asserted that corruption within the BFP has become cancerous, noting its employees spare no one, as even his own nephew reportedly fell victim to the blatant corruption.
Dito sa BFP kasi, cancerous ang corruption. Kaya may birthday party sa Cavite, pumunta yung fire chief natin, naiiwan yung assistant niya, kinausap yung kanang kamay ko, tapos doon ginawa yung suhol. Pakisabi kay Sec, may 1.5 billion siya dito. Nung sinabi sa akin yun, talagang napintig ng tenga ko talaga, sabi ko, ayaw talaga ako tigilan ng mga to eh. Sisubukan talaga ako. Makakasubukan kami ngayon.
On the first week of February, the DILG issued body-worn cameras to be used by fire inspectors whenever they visit businesses requiring a fire safety inspection certificate. However, the scheme was uncovered because inspectors were found to be in companion with fire extinguishers sellers.
Nag-backtracking kami ng DILG. Sinabit ng BFP sa amin kung saan sila nag-inspect, pumunta ang DILG at tinanong kung sa customer satisfaction. 99% may complaint pa rin. Alam nyo bakit? Kasi ang nangyayari ngayon, nauuna ang nagbebenta ng fire extinguisher. Dadating sa loob ng lugar sa loob ng tindahan, sa loob ng clinic, sa loob ng negosyo, sasabihin nila, oh, parating na fire inspector nyo. Bumili na kayo sa akin, ako na bahala, papasa na kayo kagad. 99% tried to game the system. Okay? Ganun ang ginawa nila. Di-reverse nila ngayon. Imbes na mauuna pang fire inspector, nauna ngayon na nagbebenta ng fire extinguisher. Galing, no? Mga hayop sila.
Due to the widespread corruption within the agency, Remulla has recommended the removal and filing of charges against BFP Director General Jesus Fernandez regarding an alleged kickback scheme in the procurement of fire extinguishers. Charges are also set to be filed against approximately 1,000 BFP personnel nationwide, including 40 officials involved in anomalies spanning from 2014 to 2025.
We'll be filing charges against the chief of the BFP, Jesus Fernandez, also to his deputies, also to the Bids and Awards Committee.
Beyond the extinguisher scams, another corrupt practices were highlighted, such as the alleged entrance fee for applicants wishing to join the agency, which reportedly ranges from 200,000 to 500,000 pesos. Remulla emphasized that corruption will not end until individuals are held accountable for these anomalies and structural reforms are implemented within the organization.
Dito talaga sa BFP, habang kaya ka isahan ka. Pero hindi nila ako kayang isahan habang buhay. Mahuhuli ko rin yung mga yan.
The secretary urged the business sector to record videos and call 911 if they encounter firefighters offering overpriced extinguishers in exchange for the fast-track processing of permits. This is Henry Nicolas for Eurotv News.
Authorities are intensifying their manhunt for gaming tycoon Atong Ang. The Interior Secretary has announced a higher reward for information on his whereabouts. More from this report. Authorities in the Philippines continued their manhunt operations against gaming tycoon Charlie Atong Ang. This follows the statement of the Cambodian government denying that Ang is in their country. Interior Secretary John Remulla has announced that the reward for information leading to Ang's whereabouts has been increased to 20 million pesos.
Increasing the bounty for Atong Ang to 20 million pesos for information leading to his arrest. Seryoso kami rito 20 million pesos information leading to his arrest.
The reward money will reportedly come from the confidential funds of the Philippine National Police and the Department of the Interior and Local Government.
Kaya tanyo ko sa nangagaling yan sa mga confidential funds provided to the PNP at saka sa DILG para sa mga ganong klaseng kaso. Walang walang GPP atos dito totoong tao babayaran namin dito kung makita namin.
The secretary insisted that authorities believed Ang is still in the Philippines. He added that they are expecting more information to surface that could help pinpoint Ang's location. Remulla's message to Ang faced the charges filed against him in connection with the alleged deaths of the missing Sabongeros.
Kung pumatay ka ng 100 tao at may bilyon-bilyon kong pesong pera nakatago at kala mong hindi ka accountable sa batas, may darating rin yung araw mo. Kailangan harapin mo yung ginawa mong mali. Napakarami niyang pera, napakarami niyang pinatay, napakalaki ng kinita niya. Siguro naman, in the interest of justice, kung yung mga nagnanakaw nga ng lotion, kinikulong natin sa Quezon City Jail ng 6 na buwan, ito, bilyon-bilyon ng kinita, daan ng pinatay. Dapat naman managot siya. Hindi naman pwedeng porque may pera siya, makakawala siya habang buhay.
The DILG is also planning to procure high-tech drones capable of penetrating dense tree covers. According to Remulla, these drones could be used in tracking high-profile fugitives in the country, including Atong Ang and former Bureau of Correction Chief General Gerald Bantag. This is KRIZZA LOPEZ for Eurotv News. The International Criminal Court has allowed both the defense and prosecution to add their evidence list ahead of the confirmation hearing on crimes against humanity charges against former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Mia Layagin has more.
Less than 2 weeks before the rescheduled confirmation hearing on the crimes against humanity charges against former President Rodrigo Duterte, the International Criminal Court Pre-Trial Chamber 1 reports newest developments of the case. In the February 10 decision, the chamber granted both the requests of Duterte's defense team and of the prosecution to file additional submissions on the list of evidences. On February 6, the defense filed a leave to add 78 items on the list of evidences in relation to Duterte's case. The defense noted that this includes materials that may be beneficial in their preparation for the confirmation hearing, citing good cause and that it will not lead to an unfair prejudice. They added that the prosecution did not raise an objection on the additional submissions. On the same day, the prosecution submitted a request for the chamber's authorization to be able to add 2 items on the list of evidence, noting no opposition from the defense. The Common League of Representatives of Victims did not oppose both of the requests. In the decision, the chamber considered the relevance of the submissions, noting good cause to grant the request. With this, the chamber allowed both parties to submit the updated list of evidence until February 13, 2026. This is Mia Layagin for Eurotv News.
Malacanang is pushing back against claims made by former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque regarding President Marcos Jr.'s health. The palace says the allegation has already been disproven, and should not be given weight. Miela Yagin returns for the details.
Manggagaling lamang po din kay Harry Roque na isang masasabi na natin isang fake news peddler. Nakita naman po natin ang video, yung kabuuan kung saan itinaas pa po mismo ng Pangulo ang kanyang mga kamay habang siya'y kumakaway sa ating mga kababayan, at kitang-kita po na ang sinasabing larawan o ipinakitang larawan ni Harry Roque ay pawang kasinungalingan lamang.
This was the direct response of Palace Press Officer and Undersecretary Attorney Claire Castro regarding former presidential spokesperson Harry Roque's post, seemingly claiming that President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. relies on a colostomy bag. Castro denied the claims, noting that videos from the same event already debunks the allegations regarding the president's health. She emphasized that these kinds of statements, especially those coming from Roque, should not be dwelt with or given weight, directly calling the former as a fake news peddler. Roque was also quick to counter, arguing that he is not a fake news peddler. In a video, Roque said that the post is purely a question and a curiosity and not to spread the fake news.
Alam mo, Auntie Claire, hindi ako pwede masabi na kakalat ng fake news dahil ako'y nagtatanong. Tinanong ko, may larawan akong nakita sa internet na ang Pangulo ay mayroong parang bag sa tiyan. Alam ko yung bag na yan, may nakita akong ganyan na, no? Yung dating Mayor Osmeña ng Cebu City, talagang may ganyang colostomy bag ang tawag dyan. Yan ay kapag hindi na gumagana nga yung mga functions natin, pagdudumi ng tao, linalagyan na ng bag para dyan didiretso yung dumi. So ako, hindi ko sinasabi na mayroong colostomy bag ang presidente. Ang akin lang ay pagtatanong.
Roque further explained that questioning the health of the president is part of his rights as a Filipino citizen. He likewise urged the palace to release a health bulletin to clarify the president's health status, emphasizing that the public deserves to know.
So, importante ha, Auntie Claire, ikaw magbigay ka ng impormasyon. Huwag ka lang magdi-dismiss as fake news dahil ako, hindi naman ako magsasabi ng isang bagay na hindi katotohanan. Pero bilang mamamayan, bilang isang abogado, may karapatan ako magtanong. At ako naman po ay nagtatanong lamang. Kaya kinakailangan pag nagtanong, ay bigyan ng kasagutan. Ang sabi ko pa nga, Auntie Claire, ngayon, ikaw magbigay ng kasagutan kung ano yung suot-suot sa terno ng presidente. Kung yan nga ba ay colostomy bag o hindi. So ano ba? Colostomy bag ba yan o hindi? AI na naman yan. Kung po pwede, itaas mo yung suot ng presidente na makita namin kung meron nga nasa ilalim niyang suot-suot niyang damit. Dahil karapatan namin na kung may colostomy bag yan, ay malaman ng tao ang katotohanan.
This is Miela Yagin for Eurotv News.
The Department of Labor and Employment is encouraging employers to allow workers time off to have their children vaccinated against measles and rubella. The advisory supports the government's nationwide immunization campaign for young children. Vanessa Cleofas reports.
The Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE, has issued an advisory to all employers in the country, including those in the private sector, to allow their employees to be absent from work on the scheduled dates for the measles vaccination in their respective areas. This is in support of DOLE for nationwide measles rubella supplemental immunization activity being conducted by the Department of Health, or DOH, which aims to vaccinate children aged 6 to 59 months against measles. Under the agency's Labor Advisory Number 2, aside from allowing absence on the exact date the employee's child is scheduled for vaccination, employees may also be excused from work the following day if the child experiences adverse effects or reaction after the vaccination. The advisory also states that employees must present proof that their child has been vaccinated. For companies that have their own immunization programs covered by their occupational safety and health committees as part of their family welfare program, they may set up temporary vaccination posts within their establishments for their employees. Meanwhile, prior to DOLE's advisory, the Civil Service Commission, or CSC, also issued a similar appeal to employers in support of the DOH campaign. As of now, according to the DOH, more than 2 million children in Mindanao have already been vaccinated against measles since the vaccination campaign started there on January 19. The MR immunization in Luzon and Visayas is scheduled for June 2026. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
The Department of Transportation has issued a public apology after an incident involving MRT3 personnel holding tarpaulin signs at a station drew attention. Management says the act was unauthorized and has led to an investigation. Catherine Nandicho tells us more.
The Department of Transportation's or DOTR MRT3 management has issued a public apology regarding an incident at Shaw Boulevard Station where several personnel were seen holding tarpaulin signs that serve as directional guides to the station operational escalators. According to MRT3 management, the action was not authorized by higher officials and was carried out by the station supervisor without approval. The activity was immediately stopped once management became aware of the situation. Transportation Secretary Banoy Lopez has ordered the immediate relief of the station supervisor involved. The supervisor has been placed under investigation by the MRT3 Disciplinary Committee and may face appropriate sanctions if found to have committed violations. The DOTR MRT3 also apologized to the personnel who were instructed to carry the tarpaulins, stating that such tasks are not part of their official duties. Management emphasized that no employee should be treated in that manner. The DOTR MRT3 assured the public that measures are now being implemented to prevent similar incidents in the future, reaffirming their commitment to accountability, efficiency, and respect in all their operations. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
The Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH is preparing for the launch of its Oplan Kontrabaha program with a site assessment in Maguindanao. The initiative is part of efforts to strengthen flood mitigation and reduce the impact of flooding on communities. Graciela Corazon brings us the details.
The Department of Public Works and Highways or DPWH conducted a site assessment at Buluan, Maguindanao to prepare for the upcoming launch of Oplan Kontrabaha. The DPWH aims to thoroughly inspect the survey and areas where the Oplan Kontrabaha construction will begin and ensure of smooth implementation. The visit to the areas was led by DPWH, Oplan Kontrabaha Task Force Commander and Undersecretary for Special Concern Charles T. Calima Jr., accompanied by Chief of Staff and Bureau of Equipment Director Rubio Noel L. Ilaw. The DPWH OKB Task Force also held a coordination meeting with the district engineers and the Equipment Management Division to discuss the needs and deployment of equipments and its coordination with various offices to ensure the successful implementation of the project. The said project is in accordance with the directive of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. to address the problem and reduce the impact of flooding in communities and to strengthen flood mitigation efforts in the country. This is Graciela Corazon for Eurotv News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has led the inauguration of the new rehabilitated Mahayag Dam in Zamboanga del Sur. Vanessa Cleofas returns.
The newly rehabilitated Mahayag Dam in Barangay Lower Salug, Daco in Zamboanga del Sur has officially reopened and will now benefit over 3,000 farmers from the municipalities of Mahayag, Molave, Ramon Magsaysay, and Suminot. It is capable of irrigating approximately 5,044 hectares of farmland. The dam's inauguration was led by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. together with the National Irrigation Administration or NIA and other government agencies. The President said that the dam will serve as a major diversion structure of the Salug River irrigation system, which will greatly benefit farmers and the agricultural sector in the region.
Sa pamamagitan ng proyektong ito, inaasahan natin mas mapapabuti ang water diversion, irigasyon at iba pang gawain pang-agrikultura ng rehiyon. Makakatulong din ito sa pagbawas ng baha at sa pangkalahatang seguridad ng mga tahanan at kabuhayan dito sa Zamboanga del Sur.
It is worth noting that the Mahayag Dam was originally built in 1967 but was damaged and partially collapsed due to typhoons in 2022 and 2023. The Mahayag Dam will now be a key part of the largest national irrigation system in the entire Zamboanga Peninsula, which is Salog River Irrigation System or RIS that irrigates over 8,102 hectares of farmland in the region. Meanwhile, the funding for the Mahayag Dam reconstruction amounted to 450 million pesos from the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Fund. In addition to dam inauguration, the government also introduced 20 solar-powered pump irrigation projects in the region aimed at increasing agricultural production in remote or drought-prone areas that lack of reliable electricity supply. This is Vanessa Cleofas for Eurotv News.
Moving forward with the launch of a multinational board of KRIZZA, and now Israel has formally joined the effort following earlier concerns about the board's composition. Son Santiago has the report.
Last month, the Multinational Board of Peace was formally launched as part of a US-backed peace plan aimed at leading the reconstruction of Gaza after the two-year war between Israel and Hamas. During its inauguration, 19 out of 60 invited countries joined United States President Donald Trump on stage to signal their participation. Although attendance was not mandatory, Israel was notably absent at the time due to reported concerns over the composition of the board's executive body. However, on Wednesday, during his visit to Washington, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu officially signed the document confirming Israel's participation in the Board of Peace. This signing ceremony took place in the presence of U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. In a post on X, Netanyahu described the move as proof of the strong alliance between Israel and the United States. Following the signing, Netanyahu held a closed-door meeting with President Trump that lasted nearly 3 hours. According to the Israeli Prime Minister's office, the leaders discussed negotiations involving Iran, the situation in Gaza, and broader developments across the Middle East. Netanyahu also emphasized Israel's security needs in relation to the said negotiations. Meanwhile, President Trump described the talks as good and reaffirmed the strong relationship between Washington and Tel Aviv. The first official meeting of the Board of Peace is scheduled for February 19 in Washington as the United States continue to welcome additional countries interested in joining the initiative. This is Son Santiago for Eurotv News.
This Valentine's, a new social weather station survey shows the number of Filipinos who are very happy with their love life remains at a record low. The poll also reveals shifts in happiness level across different relationships statuses. Kathleen Landicho tells us more.
The percentage of Filipinos who consider themselves very happy with their love life remains at a record low of 46%. This is according to the latest survey conducted by the social weather station. Over the past 20 years since 2004, this figure has remained at its lowest level, matching last year's percentage. Meanwhile, 40% of the respondents said they could still be happier, while 14% reported having no love life at all, down from 18% last year. Based on the SWS survey, the highest level of happiness was recorded among married Filipinos, followed by those living with a partner. Among women, when classified by relationship status and gender, married women were the happiest at 57%, up 3 points from 54% in 2024. However, happiness declined among women in live-in relationship, 45% down from 53%. And among those without partners, 22% down from 24%. Among men, although married men remain happy at 55%, this marked a 6-point drop from 61% last year. Men in live-in arrangement remain steady at 50%. Meanwhile, the percentage of men who reported being happy despite having no partner rose to 28%, a 9-point increase from 19% in 2024. This is Catherine Landicho for Eurotv News.
The entertainment industry is mourning the loss of South Korean actor Jung Eun-woo. The 39-year-old performer was known for his roles in several Korean dramas. Sam Martos has the details.
South Korean actor Jung Eun-woo has passed away at the age of 39. The sad news was reported yesterday, February 11, by a Korean media outlet. The cause of his death was not made public in accordance with his family's wishes. Jung-woo was known for his role in several projects such as The Slave Hunter, Stranger, Five Fingers, My Only One, and many more. Meanwhile, before his death, it can be recalled that just a few days ago, the actor posted on his Instagram account a photo of the late Chinese star Jungkook Yang and British singer and songwriter Amy. His remains will lie in state at room 2 of the new Korea Hospital Funeral Hall. The burial will take place tomorrow at 12 noon at Bukchae Sunha Cemetery. This is Sam Martos for Eurotv Showbiz News.
And that's the latest news for tonight. You may visit eurotvph.com for more news and information. You may also catch our live broadcast to our social media accounts and via Pinoy Extreme cable channel. Once again, I am KRIZZA Lopez and this is Eurotv News Thread. Stay safe and have a good night, everyone.